Hello students of class 7 and class 8. I'm your English teacher, Ms. Deepalee. Today we are going to discuss a very important grammatical element which is known as the reported speech. This topic is slightly complicated, and because it is little complicated, I have made this video especially for you to understand the basics of the reported speech. What are the rules, what are the regulations, and how different types of sentences use reported speech and how direct speech can be brought into reported speech through various types of rules and regulations. Okay, so today in this video we are basically going to learn reported speech. This is also known as indirect speech. This topic, this grammatical component is to be studied for both class 7 and 8. So this video is specifically for class 7 and 8. Please remember that this video discusses only the basic rules of the reported speech. Here I am not going into complicated rules. Okay, we are sticking to basic rules. So let's begin. Reported or indirect speech. What is it exactly? Indirect speech is a means of expressing the content of statements, questions, or other utterances without quoting them explicitly as is done in direct speech. For example, he said, I am coming is direct speech, whereas he said he was coming is indirect speech. So basically, as per this slide, what we understand is in direct speech, we use quotation marks. If you are able to see, you can have a look at my cursor. I am coming, quotation marks, which means this is direct speech. But in reported or indirect speech, the quotation marks are not there. They are not there because the lines are not spoken directly. For example, at present I am talking to you directly, whereas when you will talk about this video to your parents or siblings, that time you would be reporting it. It will be reported or indirect speech. At that time, I won't be available with. So when the person who spoke the lines is not available, it is known as reported speech. And because it is reported speech, it is not direct speech, it is called as indirect speech because the person is not available. And that is the reason these quotation marks are removed and certain changes are made. Let's move on. You may wonder when we can have direct speech, when we can talk directly in any language, what is the purpose of having to use reported speech? Why do we even need reported speech? So let's understand what are the uses of reported speech. In other words, what are the functions of reported speech? Have a look at the first bullet. Reported speech, also called indirect speech, is used to communicate what someone else said but without using the exact words. A few changes are necessary. Often a pronoun has to be changed and the verb is usually moved back, the tense, where possible. It is called as reported. Have a look at the next bullet. Reported on or indirect speech is usually used to talk about the past, so we normally change the tense of the word spoken. We use reporting verbs like say, tell, ask, and we may use the word that to introduce the reported words. So in this slide, you can specifically understand what is happening in reported speech. So the question we were wondering why reported speech is even required. It is required when the third person is talking about the communication that took place somewhere else. in some other time. That is the reason reported speech uses past tense, because the communication has already taken place and now we are reporting it as a third person. So we must use past tense. Also, some other changes could be made. As you can see, have a look here. We may use the word that to introduce the reported words. Also, we use reporting verbs like say, tell, ask, okay, along with the conjunction that. Let's move on. Differences, have a look. Differences between direct and indirect speech. The first column, basis for comparison, direct speech, indirect speech. These two speeches are completely different from each other. But how are they different? On what basis can we make the difference? Have a look. First point of comparison is meaning. Direct speech implies a direct discourse that uses the actual words of the speaker to report it. The word discourse, remember, means communication. What happens in indirect speech? Indirect speech refers to indirect discourse that delineates what a person said in own words. To delineate, to express. Okay? So indirect speech, the discourse is direct. So the person's direct words are used. In indirect speech, the person's words are not directly used. It delineates as per the needs of the speaker, and that is why changes are made. Second point of comparison, alternative name. Direct speech is also known as quoted speech. That is why we always see double inverted commas around any dialogue. Whereas reported speech, we all know that it can be either called as indirect speech or reported speech. Point of view, according to the speaker's point of view, in direct speech, we have the most important person who's the speaker. Whereas in indirect speech, the most important person is listener. So in direct speech, the speaker is given importance. In direct speech, the listener is given importance. Some more differences. Point of comparison, usage, functions. When we repeat the original words of a person, we use direct speech. When we use our own words for reporting what other person says, indirect speech or reported speech. So here original words, here we can see our own words. Next point of comparison, quotation marks. It uses quotation marks, double inverted commas as we commonly say. Whereas reported speech, it does not use quotation marks. Let's have a look at the new slide. Okay, what do we have here? Types of sentences. There are four types of sentences as you can see. These are the main types of sentences. There could be subtypes of sentences, but we are discussing about the basics. The first type of sentence is declarative sentence. Declarative sentence means any normal statement made by you or me. For example, if I say, you are listening to my video, it's a declarative sentence. I am talking to my students. This is a declarative sentence. Interrogative sentence doesn't mean anything else but just a question. Okay? Interrogative sentence means a question. What time is it? How are you? Are you doing your homework? Are you feeling well? How much does your English notebook cost? Have you read all the sentences which I have given you to practice, etc. So these are all interrogative sentences. They are questions. In interrogative sentences, we may have two types of questions. One question can be answered as yes or no. Another sentence can be answered in details. Okay. So if I ask you, are you well? Are you feeling fine today? You may say, yes, I'm fine. Yes, I'm feeling fine. Or no, I have fever. Okay. So these are interrogative sentences which can be answered with yes or no. Then there are certain questions, there are certain interrogative sentences which do not have direct answers. For example, when you went to the bazaar, what all things did you see? So that time we cannot answer saying yes, no. No, you can't do that. You have to give an answer in detail. So there are two types of questions: yes, no questions, and questions which require detailed answers. Okay. Third type of sentence is imperative sentence. Imperative sentences are either orders or requests. So sometimes when your mummy says, enough of watching TV, get back to your homework, it's an order which you cannot disobey. You have to listen to your mummy. Sometimes your mummy says, please help me in my work, I'm a little tired. That is a request. So both orders and requests are imperative sentences. The fourth one is exclamatory sentences, and I'm sure you know what exclamatory sentences are. Exclamatory sentences are sudden emotions. When you suddenly are emoted about anything that you see or experience, it is known as exclamatory sentence. For example, what a beautiful waterfall this is. How wonderful this book is. What a sensational movie star he is. So these are exclamatory sentences. So why is it that we are even discussing types of sentences? Because each type of sentence can be brought into both direct speeches and indirect speeches. And we are discussing how to bring each type of sentence into indirect speech or reported speech. Okay. Declarative to reported speech. So first type of sentence, declarative. How to bring a declarative sentence or a simple statement to reported speech. How to make the necessary change. Have a look at the example. This is direct speech. She said, comma, double inverted comma, I am a teacher. Inverted commas, complete. When you see inverted commas, you know, when you see quotation marks, you know this is direct speech. Answer. She said that she was a teacher. Now, what all changes do you see? Please have a look at the underlined words. That she was. This is not present in the question. This is not present in the example given to you because the first sentence is direct speech. Second sentence is an indirect speech or reported speech. So what we have here, she said, remains as it is. The comma is gone. The quotation mark is gone. That we added. I means she. So we write she. We use past tense. Am is present tense. Translated into past tense as was. A teacher remains as it is. Full stop remains. Quotation mark goes away. So all these changes were made according to which rules? So here is a list of rules. Remove quotation marks and commas. Use past tense. Use conjunction that. Use third person pronoun in place of first or second person pronoun. So, as I told you, removing quotation marks and commas, it's very easy. You can see there are no quotation marks and commas. Use conjunction that, very easy. You know how to write it, you know where to write it. The third rule, okay, use past tense. Sorry, I missed it. So all reported speech is always used in past tense because the incident is already over. The communication is over. We are simply telling it to a third person. We must use past tense. The fourth rule, please pay attention. It could be a new thing for you. Use third person pronoun in the place of first and second person pronoun. Now, if you remember, you did persons in third, fourth, and fifth standard in your primary section itself. And last year, briefly, in each class I have done it. It is the persons concept is also present in Sanskrit as well as Hindi. Okay, so first person pronouns are I, we. Okay, these are first person pronouns. Second person pronouns are you. Okay, in English. So I, we, and you. These are the three first and second person pronouns available in English grammar. In reported speech, we cannot use them. We have to use only third person pronoun. And third person pronoun in singular, he, she, it. And in plural, they. So because here singular is there, I, and gender is she, meaning feminine. That is the reason we wrote she here. That's it. So this is how a declarative sentence is brought into reported speech. Let's move on. Interrogative to reported speech. First, dealing with WH questions. Okay. The teacher asked Raghu, "How are you?" The teacher asked Raghu how he was. Reported speech. Okay. What are the two changes we made? He and was. What are the rules we used? Remove quotation marks, commas, and question mark. So we can see comma, quotation mark, and question mark is gone. Okay, only full stop is added. Use past tense. Here are is used, which is present tense. Past tense was. Retain WH word. Please see the direct speech uses how, reported speech also uses how, meaning the word, the WH word is retained. It is used as it is. So you can clearly see this type of reported speech does not use that. Instead of that, it uses the WH word directly. Use third person pronoun in place of first or second person pronoun. So here we have, in direct speech, we have you, which is second person pronoun, and we cannot use it. It will be changed to third person. So here the teacher, assuming that the teacher was a male, assuming that Raghu is a male name, we have changed it to he. Alright. So the teacher asked Raghu how he was. The teacher was asking Raghu about his health, and we have changed it into reported speech as how he was. Now you may wonder, ma'am, here it says how are you? Why didn't we write how was he? So the answer to that is direct speech, this is a question. In reported speech, we have removed the question mark and we have put a full stop, which means it is a statement. And in a statement, you cannot have this kind of construction where the verb comes first and the pronoun comes later. This kind of sentence construction is only possible in a question. Because this is not a question, we have to make another construction of statement construction. So we have the pronoun first, verb later, followed by a full stop. Let's move on. Imperative to reported speech. requests. So first we are dealing with requests. Example, Rahul said to his mother, please allow me to play. Answer. Rahul requested his mother to allow him to play. Now what do you see is here said to his mother is changed to requested his mother. What is the clue to use the word request? Why the answer uses the word request is because there is a word called please in the first statement, which is the direct speech. So if direct speech is using please, we have to remove the word please. Instead, we write here requested. Okay. So in reported speech, if you can see the sentence where I am moving my cursor, you can see the word please is missing. The word please is missing because word please cannot be used in reported speech as per rule. So instead of using the word please, we have used the verb, which means please do this for me. So Rahul requested his mother to allow me to play, allow him to play. Me is a personal pronoun. It belongs to first person pronoun I. Okay, I becomes me, we becomes us, you becomes yours. Okay, so they are another type of first or second person pronouns, and we know we cannot use them. Have a look at the last rule. Use third person pronoun in place of first or second person pronoun. So me is again first person pronoun. It is an extension of the pronoun I. So we have to remove it and we have to write him because we are talking about Rahul. Rahul is a boy. Instead of Rahul, if the word Rita was used, here we would have used her. So the answer is Rahul requested his mother to allow him to play. So in requests, in imperative requests, we do not use that. There is no WH word here. We introduce a new word called to, and rest of the sentence remains as it is except first person or second person pronoun. It has to be changed. So what are the rules? Remove quotation marks, commas and question mark if there is any. Use past tense. We can see past tense. If it was an extended sense statement where tense was involved, we would have seen the tense change also. But in this example, there is no tense change. Use to. We can see the word to. Remove please and write requested. That I already explained. Here requested is there. And the last rule you have already understood. Let's move on to the next type of sentence. Here we are still in imperative statements, but they are orders. Okay, imperative statement to reported speech. Example: teacher said to the student, "Show your homework." Teacher ordered the student to show his or her homework. Okay. Rule number 1: remove quotation marks and commas. You can see there are no quotation marks in the answer. Use past tense. If past tense is allowed, available, we have to use. Anyhow, you can see here ORDER, past tense. Okay. Use to. To is used here because we are in imperative. And in the previous slide also, we saw imperative requests. There also we used to. Imperative orders, we are using to again. And retaining the next sentence as it is, making only one change, which is again the same rule that we can't use first or second person pronoun. We have to use third person. So you can see your. This is the second person pronoun. Can't use. It is an extension of you. Okay. So we have to change it to third person. Now why did we write both his or her? Because the word student doesn't tell us whether the student is feminine or masculine, meaning whether the student is a boy or a girl. We don't know that. So we have to use his slash her. In exams, suppose you write his homework, full marks, her homework, full marks, his slash her homework, still full marks. Okay, so you need not be bothered. Last type of sentences, exclamatory. To reported speech. Exclamatory sentences. I already told you that exclamatory sentences are the sentences which describe extreme emotion, sudden happiness, sudden sadness. For example, oh, we lost the match. Yes, we won the match. These are extreme emotions. Let's see what the example is. The man said, how beautiful the waterfall is! Exclamatory mark. Please look at my cursor. Can you see the exclamatory mark? That means this sentence is exclamatory. Answer: the man exclaimed that the waterfall was beautiful. So what has happened here? Only one change, that followed by is became was, because we have to use past tense in reported speech. Okay, so basic changes. How beautiful the waterfall is. This is brought into a statement format because just like questions, this has a different type of structure. If you can see, the verb is coming at the end, but in usual sentences in English language, the verb is always before the noun. So both questions and exclamatory sentences have a different structure. But in reported speech, we cannot use that structure. We have to change it to a statement structure where the verb will come at the right spot. Rules: remove quotation marks, commas, and exclamatory mark that you can see. Use past tense, is became was. Write exclaimed and use that. So because this exclamatory mark is there, we have to use instead of said, we have made the change. Exclaimed means the man showed his sudden emotion. Exclaimed. Suppose by chance in exam you don't make this change and you write said. The man said that the waterfall was beautiful. In that case also you are going to get full marks. Okay, it's not mandatory, but if you remember and make this change, it will be beneficial. Fourth rule, cannot use first or second person pronoun, so you have to use third person pronoun. Okay, if it is available anywhere. You can see there is no pronoun used in this statement. So obviously we need not use any third person pronoun here. If the sentence has that pronoun, then only you can make the change. So this is a complete table related to changes in the tenses. I've told you that present tense will become past tense, but past tense also goes ahead and becomes past perfect tense. Okay, so had can become had been. Okay, so past perfect tense where we have to use been for be or be3 for any verb. We all know that there are four types of verb forms in English. If you take a verb like say give, so V1, verb 1 is give, V2 is gave, V3 is given, and V4 is giving. Let's take a verb called steal. V1 steal, V2 stole, V3 stolen, and V4 stealing. Okay. So in reported speech, if the sentence is in present tense, we use past tense. If the sentence is in past tense, we use past perfect tense. Just remember this. Okay. However, in exams, you don't get complicated sentences because you are still in junior secondary. but no harm in knowing the rules. So here are some just one exercise I'm giving you. 8 sentences are there, and you have to change each sentence into reported speech. This is your homework, this is your home assignment which you need to do after you watch this video. Okay, and you need to send it to me after you are done with this exercise. It's very important to know whether you have understood this topic or not. Okay, here is a complete website dedicated to reported speech exercises. Visit this following link and solve a few basic exercises. Okay. So whenever you have time after watching this video, after doing your exercises, I want all of you to visit this link. Okay, it's a grammar website. You can go to this link, and abundant number of reported speech exercises are available on this link. However, I have mentioned very clearly, okay, I'm sorry, let's go back. Okay, however, I have mentioned already that you have to do only basic exercises. Okay, so I hope you have understood the topic of reported speech very well. Just to summarize a few things, reported speech can be used in any type of sentences, all the basic 4 types of sentences. The basic rules are that in reported speech we cannot use comma, quotation mark, question mark, and also exclamatory mark. Reported speech always uses past tense. Okay? Reported speech cannot use first or second person pronouns. A reported speech needs to be used into third person pronouns, which are he, she, it, or they. Some of the reported speech sentences or examples uses the verb to, especially imperative. Okay? Some of the reported speech examples, especially in terms of question marks, uses the word WH. Okay, WH words. They can be retained. Still, if you happen to have any doubts, you can contact me. You can send your doubt to me on my WhatsApp number, and hopefully you have understood this topic really well. Do not forget to do your homework, and also do not forget to visit the website. It has many exercises along with answers. Okay, it was nice to talk to you. Okay, don't forget to exercise, and do not forget to wear a mask when you go out. See you.